everyone, and welcome to the Anything Goes podcast, where anything goes, except for discussions on the Armenian genocide that was cut the last episode. I'm here with my friends, Eli.
Yo, what's up?
Aiden.
Hi.
And Sean.
What's good?
Now, guys, what are we talking about today?
Well, I'm glad that you asked, Ronnie, actually, because the Armenian genocide was a topic that did have to get cut from the last episode due to a few good reasons.
No, why we wouldn't cut that shit?
Wait,
No,
Aiden.
That's quality content. Why would we
Aiden,
cut?
Aiden, we did you not watch the? We had to cut it because we used too many N-words.
Oh fuck! I forgot about that.
It wasn't allowed. It was, our editor reached out to us and said, yeah, that's all gotta go. It's out. So.
You guys are fucking good.
How's everyone been?
I haven't worked since Saturday, so I've been stuck in an empty void of not knowing what to do with my life. But I got to work today, and now I'm tired.
That's good. That's really good, actually, because I've been in the same boat. Super bored. Been super tired recently. Haven't been doing too much. Like, I know I haven't been in like Discord for like a week, so kind of, standing out a little bit. But I'm gonna try to step back up with this upcoming week. I don't really have much to do. I gotta go to the DMV tomorrow though, so that kind of sucks.
Kiddo.
So everyone knows how that goes.
Really, really fascinating stuff, guys.
Yeah. Unless you want to hear about my allergies. Like, I've been having really bad allergies.
I'll be real. No. Everyone's having bad allergies right now.
Yeah,
Speak for yourself.
So, no one cares about that shit.
But what do people care about, Aiden?
You know what?
Can you tell us what the people care about?
You know what I think people care about right now?
Drugs.
That's probably true.
Aside from drugs.
I also think people care about remakes.
Oh.
Dude, I gotta say, you took it right out of my mouth. It's like you read my little paper for topics that I was going to talk about today or something.
Eli, it was your idea. Right? Did you forget?
But you know what? I didn't read any of that shit. Because finally...
Yeah. I did actually really want to... I wanted to ask you guys, because what with the remake for Final Fantasy being soon to come out, and the demo launching a few days ago, first off, I want to ask, did anyone play it?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes, and no. Okay, Sean, I do recommend you play it.
Do some research, bro.
There's not much to it. I will say there's not like a major amount of game like for you to play in it.
It's like an hour
like
long max.
It's literally the bombing run. It's the starting of the stupid game. There's no way you're gonna have enough stuff to really do.
There was a few things about it that just kind of made me think about remakes in general. I was just like, you know what? We live in an age where everything now is a remake, a rehash of a series or a game or something like that. And me personally, I'm excited for Final Fantasy VII.
Me too.
Because I really want them to get it right. And I know I'm not alone in that. And I really enjoyed what I played from the demo. What about you guys?
I liked it a lot. I was worried that it was going to be too much like Final Fantasy 15, which I think is like mediocre garbage. But they actually took their time and made a really good combat system.
Yeah. What about you, Aiden?
I'm pretty particular about my combat, as you guys know. But I gotta say, I was really impressed. It feels really good to play, and right off the bat, my brother can corroborate. The first thing I was like, I could definitely feel the depth in the system. Like, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of cool stuff underneath the hood.
It's very weighty.
Yes, it's weighty, and there's like staggering and weaknesses and breaking and shit like that, and timing your abilities and commanding your allies and stuff.
Yeah. I enjoyed that they brought back the kind of the effect, whereas back in 15, I won't go as far as to say that the combat in 15 was garbage, because I enjoyed it. I thought it was all right. But I wouldn't say it did anything special or anything like that. But with Final Fantasy VII, the remake right now, it definitely, like you said, the combat feels weighty. When Cloud swings that sword, you can feel like the pressure behind that swing. You can, when you're switching between your combat modes, I like that they brought in that when you're doing stuff, it slows it down, which harkens back to, like, I can't remember which was the last one that did that, because I know
I think 15 does that. If you have
15 did it?
I think if you have it set to wait mode or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it was like a wait mode or a tactical. This one just kind of integrates it smoothly, switching between characters, and there's moments where it forces you to have to play as a different character, which I thought was cool, because you can obviously tell most people will just go through the game and say, well, I don't want to play as any other character, I'm just going to play as Cloud, that's it.
Well, yeah, especially during the fight, the boss fight, you basically have to utilize Barret a lot during that, because he's the only one who has Thunder on.
Exactly,
Yeah,
which was
I
a
was
really,
gonna say,
really
I like
smart
that they,
thing to do.
They don't control themselves, sort of. You have to order them.
Oh, no, go ahead.
So it's more active. You don't just let them sit there and just... They won't automatically target enemy weaknesses or use abilities. You actually have to order them to do that. You have to constantly be on top of it. Which could, I think, be annoying, but they found the right balance to it and made it satisfying rather than obnoxious.
Yeah, it's definitely the that was one thing I will say I did notice like immediately, was that he only uses his standard attack. He never uses any of his items or abilities without you telling him to, which kind of sucks. Like you said, it can be annoying, but at the same time it forces you to engage a little bit more with the character, and I think that's kind of cool. I do hope that they might add in like a system where it was in like Kingdom Hearts, where you can get the your teammates to do certain abilities on their own like will. Maybe if they choose to do it very rarely, or just whenever they feel like it, or based on what necessity type of deal. I think that would be kind of cool. It would help out a little bit. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about wasn't just like the gameplay of Final Fantasy VII. How do you guys feel about all of these remakes? We've also got, aside from Final Fantasy VII, we just got the Resident Evil 2 last year.
That was great.
Yeah, which was great. We're getting Resident Evil 3 now.
Evil 3.
That's also coming. I wouldn't go as far as to say that. I mean, I just feel like we've got a lot.
The
Xenoblade.
That hasn't come out
We've got
yet.
a lot of them. Shadow of the Colossus came out 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Legend of Zelda. Which one was it? Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one came out last year. I mean, we're just getting a lot of remakes, and do you guys feel like that's just where like the game culture is going to end up heading for a long time, like the same way that movies are? Because movies, I feel like, have headed down that path very heftily already.
I mean, just look at this year alone. This year movies, so far, it seems like they're just rehashing a lot of stuff. Like, they're doing Ghostbusters again, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the thing is, looking back, a lot of these remakes, although I'm kind of cynical about especially movie remakes now, which we might get into later, a certain franchise. but I'm not really a big fan of cinema remakes and like constant reboots and shit.
Yeah.
But you know what? To be honest, the games that have recently high-profile remakes have been excellent. Resident Evil 2 remake is a genuinely amazing game. Link's Awakening is very good by all accounts from everyone I know who's
Sean
played
can
it.
count for that. Sean
Heaps of praise. The Final Fantasy VII remake looks really promising from the demo. It's a lot of fun. So I think there's actually been quite a bit of like care put into a lot of these high budget remakes.
Well,
I think they're coming from a different place. That's the thing. Movie remakes, it's kind of hard to remake a movie in a way that is justified, because you can just watch the original, and they're remaking movies that came out not even that long ago. games, there's more advancement in the field and in technology that actually justify a remake existing. So they tend to be better just because there's more of a reason to make it.
There's only one black sheep in the video games, and that's the Secret of Mana remake. So that's the only one that I can really think of that I hear people complain about.
Well, that's another. The Trials of Mana.
I think so. I don't know if it's getting the same treatment as Secret of Mana.
It's like a 3D.
The problem is that Secrets of Mana just the Secrets of Mana remake, it just doesn't even look like a real, like it belonged in this generation. It looks like a GameCube game. I think it might actually have been turned into a mobile game. That's why. I don't know. I need to look more into that.
I completely actually agree with Sean on it as well, because it is, with video games, the technology advancement is way different in comparison to the technology advancement in movies. If you notice, now technology advancements in movies have gone from big man in a Godzilla suit, walking around, smashing a miniature version of the town that's very obvious, to them actually computer generating Godzilla or whatever it may be, computer generating that creature there. And I feel like, because I don't know the technology behind it, but I feel like they're kind of at like peak's end. I just think it's now like there's not going to be another technology that's going to boost it. It's just going to be better CGI, if you get what I mean. How it's
sort of. You have to think of it differently than just like graphically. Things motion capture was huge and allowed things like the Planet of the Apes remakes, which are fantastic, to come out. Things like 3D, which caused a huge boon.
Are those even
for a little while?
Are those even remakes? The Planet of the Apes?
Yeah,
yes.
They are.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I thought they're like. I thought they're like
they're
prequels.
remakes.
I thought they were prequels.
No, they're direct remakes of the later films in the original Planet of the Apes.
The later
because
film, okay.
Yeah,
is the first Planet of the Apes.
Well, the original starts after these begin, but then it gets around to the origin of Caesar and that kind of thing. So they're technically remakes, but not of the original.
Yeah. But I mean, what I mean by it is like you said, the mocap and everything like that. But why I say like I don't really know, so I feel like it's kind of like Aiden said, a diminishing returns now, because I feel like it's peaked, and it's just gonna like stagnate now. Because movies now look so good. They already look realistic. You watch Godzilla and it already looks realistic, as if it's already there. And I don't know what you can do to go beyond realistic.
Right. Well, again, that's what I'm saying. You have to think separately than just what it looks like, but more the experience. Things like they're doing the 4D movies now, where it's like the chairs move and like following the movie. That's the kind of thing that could justify a remake potentially.
Mm-hmm.
I think video games just allow you to do more with a remake than you can do with a movie. Because
that's what I was
when you remake a video game, like the player really just wants to play that game again, but you can really like change it up and like change the way it plays. Like Final Fantasy VII, it's not a turn-based RPG anymore, but it's still it's its own new thing, but it's still this game that you want to play because it's still the characters and the story and everything about it. Whereas movies, half the time, they either will copy it or they'll try to change it up, and then at that point it just doesn't feel like the same movie and you don't really care for it anymore. Where like Resident Evil 2 is just Resident Evil 2 but with a new camera change and a better, and just like, and it plays better controls and a lot of other stuff. It allows it to improve the old game while still being the old game at the same time.
Yeah, interestingly, I think that too is that the gameplay changes, because play is how you interface. I mean, you're playing the game, you're controlling the game actively. So being able to remake something to be more in line with possibly the original vision, or to reach a new style of gameplay that you couldn't before, opens up a lot of opportunities for games that movies don't get usually. So, example, Final Fantasy VII, going from turn-based to action. They couldn't do an action game like that at that time with those visuals, because 3D was non-negotiable. They wanted Final Fantasy VII to look amazing, but an action style wouldn't even have been in consideration. It just wouldn't really be that possible. So with the advancing technology, combined with the fact that, a lot of time has passed, I think these developers are being a bit more aggressive with with the IP. RE2 and RE3 aren't tank control games with fixed camera angles. They're over the shoulder third person shooters, and that changes a lot about how it plays. So I think that has a big part of it.
I think the other thing to consider with games is it's just not as accessible as movies are, in the sense that in a lot of older games you just can't play because you can't really get those systems, or they don't work anymore. Age gates
true.
Video games a lot harder than movies.
That's true. It's very true, actually.
It's like remakes become necessary for people to even be able to play it at all.
Yeah, with older movies, you could stream it, find it on Amazon, buy a DVD or whatever like that. And even if you bought it as a DVD and you didn't have a DVD player or like a PS4 or anything, you could probably buy like a DVD player to play that for what, like $10 these days? I don't know, dude. I'm assuming that they're so dated and like no one uses them anymore because people just use their consoles for any disc that they do watch. Exactly. And then other than that, mostly everything that most people watch are either streamed or in a movie theater. So I completely see where that's coming from. But what about the games that you feel like when they do make such a big change to it? And I don't really know where I would put this, like what I would say this would be. Maybe like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I'm not sure because that just came out and my brother's been playing the hell out of that. And he's got me in there as a Cyndaquil because I begged him to make me a Cyndaquil. I don't ask why. I like Cyndaquil. I think he's cute. But so he's got me as his partner in there as Cyndaquil. And I've just kind of watched him get a little bit of play for it. But I've always thought, like, what about those games that get remade and end up not being what they should have been? Not being, like, you play it and it's just a completely different vibe. The same way that a remake for a movie for certain movies would do. Like, you watched a movie and you're like, I love this movie, it's so good, and there's a remake coming out, I'm excited. But then that remake comes out and it's just like, you're like, yeah, wasn't that great.
I mean, I think that's what's happening with Final Fantasy VII.
Well, yeah, and that's what my concern is. That's what I want to know.
And my thing is, if that's a problem for you, you need to realize this isn't the same product.
Yeah.
It's a remake. We're remaking it. We're completely from the ground up creating a new product based on the original. It's not necessarily supposed to be identical. And if you're getting a different vibe, that's likely very intentional.
Yeah,
actually.
And I think it all comes down to like what the original product was like intended to be. You might look at Final Fantasy VII, the original, and say that the story and the atmosphere was meant to be more like fast-paced action, but they just couldn't do it. So now they can do that now. Something like Mystery Dungeon in a remake, it already was able to capture what it wanted. So all they really have to do is update like graphics more than the actual gameplay.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, kind of more so in the sense of like it's technology that was holding it back initially. Now that the technology is available and here, it can be done. Like, again, with, I'm going to use, instead of Mystery Dungeon, I'm going to say Crash Bandicoot. Because Crash Bandicoot, the remake for that with the Insane Trilogy or whatever, that's literally just directly the old game, just better graphics. It's exactly the same thing. It's the old game. Whereas Final Fantasy is a new game of the same game, like they completely redid it. They didn't just up the graphics and keep it the same thing. They built it as its own new platform.
A better one is Shadow of Colossus.
Shadow of Colossus, yeah.
Yep.
Very similar, but I think the reason for Shadow of Colossus is that was a PS2 game, and one of the biggest things about Shadow of Colossus was, oh, look how amazing this looks. Like, that's one of the things. But if you go back now, it doesn't look so good no more. So they did a remake, and now it looks amazing again.
Yeah.
They preserved the intention. Yeah. And I don't think you have to preserve the intention to make something good.
It's just a risk.
But
you're walking a line
riskier.
of, will people accept it different, or are they really attached to what it was?
And good example of that is a movie, The Mummy,
Right.
with Brendan
Yes.
Fraser. Is a remake, a totally different genre and style, but it's a really good movie. And it works really well, but I think that's a good example of the potential risk, but also reward that comes from, you know what, we're going to use this property to do something new.
I mean, you can even like.
But most of the time it doesn't work out. But it is
Funnily
possible.
enough, you can even look at the remake they just did of The Mummy again.
Yeah,
And it was
the,
they took a
the
risk on,
2017
like,
version. Yeah,
Yeah, like let's make it more serious and like a universe with a
Yeah,
bunch of
freaking-
monsters, and it failed miserably.
Freaking the Dark
Killed their
Universe.
entire
That was
universe.
a good idea.
Such a
It could have been an okay idea, but the movie was so bad it just killed the whole thing.
I don't know how I feel about the Dracula.
I mean, like, what are the monsters?
Yeah, I don't know
gonna
how I
team
feel
up?
about Dracula, the
Necessarily, but
Mummy
they could have just
being the
fought
Avengers.
each other. Or and they didn't even necessarily say they would team up, just that they would exist in the same universe.
Yeah,
and that
exist
you could have
together,
some level
yeah.
of crossover.
I think
they probably would have made it
most-
into like an Avengers type thing at the end.
I hope not.
Maybe.
Well, it doesn't matter.
exactly,
It's
it's
dead now.
dead.
It's dead now.
Yeah.
I just think more people were hoping for the Brendan Fraser version of The Mummy instead of what we got. You know,
And that movie's so. I just
I
watched
mean,
it yesterday.
don't
I
diss.
agree with you, Eli, but I think it could have been fine if it was a good movie. People would have gone and said, "Oh, it's not what I wanted, but it's still good."
Right. Yeah.
The fact that it was shit meant that people like the problem stood out that much more.
And there are diehards that will always
There's
have
also,
a problem with the remake.
Yeah.
There's also
matter what.
remakes that are remade just that way, just for people who don't want to watch like a Chinese movie, so they remake it for like an American audience. I'm looking at you, old
I'm gonna be
boy.
honest. I was gonna say that. Those, all right. Listen, those kind of
Are the
remakes
worst.
are
Yeah.
fucking trash. Almost never good. I can't think of a single good example of one.
Yeah. The Ring? The American Ring was pretty good.
The Ring.
Yeah, the first one was. The second
Yeah.
one was
Well,
abhorrent.
Yeah, that's a,
the
yeah, that's a
second
pretty.
one was abhorrent. It was so
it's just
bad.
you lose a lot of the original like culture and value when
Yeah.
you try and adapt it.
Yeah.
You
It's
have
just
to
hard.
adapt it
I mean, it's-
like way more than they do. Like you have to make serious changes to make it fit like America, but they don't.
Yeah, but that's the
Funny
thing.
thing, a lot
But that's
of
why
people
I'm talking about
didn't
like
notice.
Old Boy. That's like a completely unnecessary remake. That's just a remake just to like go after the American audience. Yeah,
Lowest
well,
common denominator.
I don't think that's like not necessarily unjustified. Trying to like open a story to a new audience that is otherwise not willing to watch it. I think that's somewhat commendable.
I just think it's almost impossible to do it well.
Yeah.
I think that's just a
That's
challenging
where
product.
like, from my perspective, I just can't accept they're not going to be as good and just hope it maybe gets people to watch the original instead.
To kind of move on
like a
with
gateway.
this topic.
Well, actually,
Go
well,
ahead.
hold on. There's one more thing. There's one more thing I gotta. So for remakes, there can we? It's I guess not directly related, but reboots are also in right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I gotta say, reboots lately have fucking sucked. And I want to talk about The Predator.
Yeah, well, it's funny you should say that because I was actually going to say to move on from this and keeping within the same vein, kind of, what would be something you'd want to see remade or rebooted? So, go ahead.
Well, I want to see The Predator.
Take the boot out of its
I want to
ass.
see
Get rid of
every.
it.
I want every Predator movie after 2, which I don't even really like that much, to just be vaporized. And Predators with an S isn't necessarily terrible, but it's like, stop. I'm begging you, stop.
It's
No
it's
more.
so hard because Predator is such a good like. It's like
He's so cool.
You want to see more of it. It's such a cool like concept, a character.
Yeah.
They just can't seem to figure out something new to do with it that doesn't suck ass.
But autistic
I don't think
super
it's
aliens.
that hard, though, to be honest. I think it's...
I
don't know.
I disagree. I think because the character is so iconic and people have such expectations of it that you can't just do like an average action movie just with the Predator in it. People will not
Yeah.
like that.
I just
So
think
you would say that
I just
they're
think the
fear-
directors take the easy way out.
Well, I think Shane Black just sucks swamp ass.
That's also true. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. They take
He
the
is
easy
good in
way
the
out by
original.
hiring Shane Black.
He's good in the original.
Yeah, he's like a fine actor, I guess. But
Yeah, exactly.
sucks
as
at
a
directing.
creator, I've disliked everything I've seen from him.
Ronnie made me sit through that whole fucking
was awesome.
movie. I gotta say, that movie is fucking horrible.
It's unbelievable.
It's so bad.
There's
so
almost
much.
on last night tier of like, I was just shocked throughout the movie.
Dude, autism? When he's like, McKenna, come out here. I think he's like, not you, your kid.
I honestly find that movie so hilarious.
I think a part of it is definitely the fear of getting it wrong and then not pleasing everyone, because you gotta look at the way that society is these days, dude.
I don't think that was
Like,
the
the
problem.
problem-
I know.
Predator
I'm not.
honestly
I'm
feels-
just saying that's a part of it.
It honestly feels like a giant joke. There's
It is. That's Shane Black's style.
That's what I'm saying though. Like,
No,
not
but it's not a good joke.
It's
yeah,
like
it sucks.
No, it feels like production
Yeah,
itself was a joke. Like the movie was proposed as a joke. Guys, what if we made another Predator?
he's-
What if-
it's like he was,
only go
it's
see
like
it,
he was
dude.
at he was at an office
like-
meeting and he just goes, why don't we do a new Predator and we do it like this, and then everyone goes, yeah, let's do that, and he's like, guys, I was kidding, and they're like, here's your paycheck, and he's like, okay, let's do it.
All right.
Like it's like the movie felt like it was like a joke, but the joke isn't in the script. The joke is the
movie's
fact
being
that the script
made.
exists.
I told you
The movie's
before
existence was a
before I
fucking
sat
joke.
Aiden down to watch this, I told him, I said, you will hate this movie, but if you look at it like this, if you look at it like someone actually made this movie just completely becomes 10 times more funny. Every 20
anyway.
minutes I would look at Aiden and just be like, someone made this, because it's just so baffling. The movie is so baffling that somebody sat there and thought that this was a good idea, or that this was funny, or this was anything.
It's misreading
Unboot
the
Predator.
audiences, like, as a whole. It's like they're thinking, oh yeah, this will be good, this will be funny, oh, this is hilarious, and it makes you wonder, why do you guys, like, who's on the board at these meetings when you guys are coming up with these ideas? Is it the people who are going to actually be watching the movies like it should be, and then a few professionals, or is it just all these dudes who are just like, that's probably
Bro,
cool,
Mountain
like,
Dew, bro.
Honestly, when you watch The Predator, it really feels like a dude bro was writing it the whole time, because there's like a lot of like scientist stuff, and like scientists are just like acting like dude bros when they're looking at a predator body for like
Predator sounds cooler.
She's like a predator. That sounds more like a sports hunter. And he's like, yeah, but we took a vote. Predator sounds cooler. And they're like, yeah. And they all just start clapping. And it's just like
the Marvel effect. Everything has to be quippy now.
yeah, it really, and it sucks because not everything needs to be. Not everything should.
Hell no, not
Sometimes I
everything.
like it, but sometimes I want something more serious or like straight face. Not everyone can be Robert Downey Jr.
It also
it just
help.
doesn't work if you don't have the charm.
it would also help if the jokes landed.
You want to know what
That's
I
what I'm
feel
saying.
like
They'll
is-
land if you
is-
have a good actor and a good script, and they don't have.
Or a
that.
good joke, which they don't have most of the time too.
Yeah, like I said, that comes down to the.
I mean,
script.
even Marvel movies tend not to have.
I gotta say, I feel like John Wick actually did a really good job at doing that, though, because you watch the first movie and it's not very quippy. It's not very
It's
like.
not at all.
It's very just like straightforward
Yeah.
and serious. But then they have like those very few slight moments of, you know, just that comedic relief. But then you notice in John Wick 2, it's a little bit more. There's not quippy, but it's still it's got more comic relief moments. But then once you jump into John Wick 3, it's quip. And
I
I
don't
think
think
it
it
is,
is.
dude.
I think it does
Actually,
more. I do
I
think as they get
disagree.
more successful, it's pushed more in that direction.
I really can't recall a single moment from that movie where
He
there was,
shot
like, a
my dog.
blatant Quip.
that part.
I mean, I don't think that's
that
a
was
quip.
supposed to be like a quip. It was meant to draw a reaction
I
from
don't think it
everybody. It
is.
was supposed to be like a joke. And then
I mean, if that's the case, then the first two movies
well,
definitely.
hold
had
on.
lots of-
There's also this.
He killed the
Oh,
guy
that's
with
what I was
the
That's why I
gonna
said
say.
the
pencil.
moments of comedic relief, though. Those are those just like breaks from all of the.
Yes, and I'm saying the third movie just continues that.
I mean, the first one he says that he doesn't say it like that. He's telling like a story to his son to show how terrifying John Wick is. It's like a different context entirely.
Well, yeah, that's why I liked about the comedy in John Wick 1, because the comedy in John Wick 1 was just, oh shit, it's John Wick. That's usually what the comedy was.
It wasn't even comedy. They played it like, oh god, he's here to fucking kill
I know, and that's what made it funny. Was because you got to see those guys start quivering.
Funny.
Well, I mean, my thing is, I think the comedy in those movies, like the comedic relief, just comes from the absurdity of it.
The fact that it's
like,
just this one dude.
Like, for instance, the sommelier scene is really funny because it's played straight, but they have a sommelier for guns, and that's pretty funny. And it's played straight, but it comes off as entertaining. It's funny. But I don't really think John Wick, even 3, is like a super quippy movie like that.
Well, no, I'm not saying
saying
that.
They push comedy and more lighthearted moments more than they did in the first one.
Maybe a little bit, but I mean, Eli, you said the movie went quip, 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 quip. I really don't think that's the case.
You know, I don't.
I think there might have been one or two moments, but that movie for the most part plays itself similar.
I don't mean exactly like, you know, like Marvel style, because I mean it's hard to do that nowadays and make sure that they actually land, but I mean like I'm basically saying like incrementally with each movie it got to be more and more, and it's noticeable. I mean the whole scene when they're fighting back at the hotel, you know, there's multiple clips during that whole actual combat scene when they're walking back in, changing guns and getting getting ammo and all that other stuff. When John was fighting the guys in that mirror room, like they were making jokes like, oh my god, we're fighting John Wick. Hey, no disrespect. Sorry, I respect you. Like, you know, they were like joking about it while they're still trying to kill this man, but they're also at the same time like.
I'm saying that's very similar to me.
I would say the two. One, having watched it recently, they almost never talk at all during the fights.
Yeah.
Yeah. One is. That's not about talking during the fighting.
Well, that's sort of what he's saying. They're like taking more pauses or things to like like push character into the fights beyond just the fight, which sometimes is to comedic effect and sometimes not.
I suppose. Even then, remembering the movie, I don't remember much in the way of like fighting and talking at the same time.
I do in 3.
It'd usually be broken up into.
I have a very good compromise here. I still haven't seen John Wick 3, so let's all watch it together and we'll see how much quip there is in it.
Well, it definitely has more comedy in it. I mean, it's much more lighthearted.
I'm just using this as an excuse.
And the second one is much more. Yeah, I know, but it's like the first one is honestly not. It's pretty dark. The second one is much more lighthearted. Yeah. The third one is even more.
Well, see, that's exactly what I'm saying. Don't think that right there.
Just calling it quippy is probably
the initial
not the
character
right way
is.
To put it.
Yeah, I don't think calling it quippy really does it justice, though. I think it's very much continued the spirit of the movies before it, just bigger and with more, global appeal. Yeah. But regardless.
Hold on, guys. I gotta blow my nose, man, because my
do it straight into the mic.
No, I'm not gonna do it into the mic. I'm gonna mute myself. I've blown my nose raw, dude, because of how bad my allergies have been today. So it sucks.
All right, you guys got any other things you want rebooted or remade?
One thing that always concerns me is I want to see Lord of the Rings remade, but then
you're getting it.
What?
Yeah, you're getting it.
Amazon is making like $1 billion budget show.
Which is why I was like, I want it, but I don't.
Here's the thing. I've been watching the originals again, like the past week. I got the super extended editions. So
those are the ways to watch it, dude. Those are the right way to watch it.
Here's the thing. I have been incredibly impressed that it holds up basically perfectly. The things that don't look as good are not even like the CGI. It's stuff like green screen that you can kind of notice a little bit more.
Yeah.
But stuff like the CGI, they blend it so well with the practical effects. The story is told like perfectly. There's really no reason to remake it unless you have a totally different take on Lord of the Rings.
It can't be topped.
You can't try to tell it straight and beat it. They have to like, what if Sauron was a good guy?
I haven't seen Lord of the Rings.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
I'm like, bruh.
Is there a good movie you have seen?
I've seen the first Lord of the Rings, but I didn't watch any of the other ones. Same thing with Harry Potter.
Fucking god, dude.
That's
okay.
fair,
Well,
yeah.
that's okay. Harry Potter.
I don't know about
Harry
that.
Potter's
pretty
Schmarry Potter.
iconic. And they're good movies.
Yeah, but
I'd put it on a
okay.
similar
The first
level.
three,
Not quite as good, but
first three are good. 4, 5, and 6, and
I
7.
like 7 a lot. I do not like 8. Or no, I like
There's an
6.
8?
Sorry, I like 6 a lot. I don't like 7.
Well, yeah, they did Deathly Hollows
Yeah.
Part 1 and 2, so wouldn't that count as like... How many
Yeah, I
Harry
guess.
Potter movies are there?
Look,
Too many.
fuck Harry Potter. Harry Potter's ruined anyway
that's
by
true.
fucking wizards throwing shit out the windows
That's true.
because they don't need white
So much
or whatever,
stuff
flush
getting
or whatever.
redacted and freaking...
Well, I mean, if you guys don't have any,
What's up, man?
I was gonna say,
Ronnie, what's up?
You were talking about reboots and what things we want reboot, and I would want Dead Space to get a reboot since it's dead in the lake.
Ah.
It's dead in the lake and it's never coming
Dead
back.
Space had a
good
cult
one.
following too, so...
I don't
could do
even.
good.
Did it have a cult
I don't
following?
know.
I think it was.
I think it did when it came out, and then it became popular
I think
with
it has
2,
a mainstream
and then
following.
it fell off after 3, and now no one ever talks about it.
That's because they don't
like,
do
pretty
anything
much
with the
just gone.
franchise anymore.
I
think
mean,
everyone's
there's a
given
lot
it
of things
hope on
that
it.
aren't being used that people still remember and talk about. Dead
That's
Space just
well,
hasn't held in people's minds.
Well, that's because Dead Space 3 left it in such a dirty, vapid water. Because Dead Space 2 is a
Dude,
freaking.
I don't think that game is that.
what
Not
Dead
bad.
Space 3? Dead Space 3. Well,
Yes.
compared
Dead
compared
Space
to
3 slander
compared to
has
the
to
other
stop.
ones, it's not as good. I don't think it's not a bad
not
game.
okay,
it's a
yeah.
fun co-op game.
It's a fun co-op game.
And
it's
I
a
think
terrible
and I
horror
think the
game,
thing
and I
is
know
that
and blah, blah,
I don't
blah.
think I probably would not liked it if I didn't have a person playing it with me. I probably wouldn't have liked it nearly as
Yes.
much.
I totally
it's
agree.
a good
that too.
co-op game, a good like 7 out of 10 co-op
Okay.
game. But then it's like,
Yeah,
but everything else.
I was just saying.
'cause
It just makes me sad. People shit on Dead Space 3 like it's like the worst, and I'm like,
Yeah.
but it's pretty fun.
I mean,
I
it's
mean, but it
definitely
is
the
the worst of the 3.
of the 3.
It
and
is the
but
definitely
it is
worst
the
of the
worst
3.
of the 3.
It's
I'm
the
not
worst.
disputing
It's the
that.
worst of the
I'm not
3, and
disputing
it's
that.
not just because it's the worst. It's also because it's just such a. It's the last, and it's such a weird departure from the other two. Because like you have 1, which executed in what it was trying to do flawlessly, and then 2 just improved it and like made it better, and then you have this one which just decided to like lay down and die.
Spin-off.
Yeah,
Became a
it's
spin-off.
like what's the thing that people joke about? They're like, oh, Dead Space 3 and Lost Planet 3 changed their they got their scripts mixed up because they're like
true.
they're basically what the other one should have been.
Yeah.
So way to go. Yeah, I want Dead Space. I just want Dead Space to come back in some way, but I want it to be done right. Like that's the only thing that sucks is that when you hear reboots coming out, you never know if it's gonna be faithful or not anymore. With like anything, so this is the thing. Yeah,
That's a risk. Like we've said, it could be good.
it could suck.
suck.
Probably will suck
Major
because that's
dick.
usually probably sucks.
Probably
It's-
sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm just scrolling through. I'm just scrolling through my Steam library right now, just trying to figure out.
I would say, actually, I'm really glad you mentioned Lost Planet because I really wish Lost Planet.
Yeah, dude, I loved Lost Planet too. It
Lost Planet is so fucking sick.
really was, dude. That's something
Oh!
Also,
Remake for Snake Eater. I want to.
For what?
Snake Eater.
For what?
Metal Gear Solid 3.
Oh yeah.
You can't play that freaking game anymore.
Didn't they remake
yeah, I
it
don't
on
give a fuck
3DS?
about Metal
No,
Gear.
no, that's not a remake. Yeah, it's just
They
a crappy
ported it.
port.
No, then you can play.
I don't want to play it on the 3DS. I don't want to play it on the 3DS. I want to play a new version where you get like Aiden. Don't tell me you don't want to play Metal Gear Solid 3 if it had the same controls as Metal Gear Solid 5. Yeah, that'd be
pretty
freaking clean. That's what I'm saying. A remake.
If they redid I would say just all of the originals in that Metal Gear Solid 5 style, I think it would help a lot because it doesn't even have to be the massive world that was Metal Gear Solid 5. It can be broken down into smaller like ground zeros and then done in different areas or different maps the way that they did in 5.
I think that would actually.
That's what I'm saying. I think that would be like the way that it should be done, especially because a lot of some of the older games are played on facilities, like Snake is on a facility, or the one with Raiden, and a lot of it is on like bases and stuff like that. I think it would be cool to do like those smaller, more contained, but still open area maps where you can still take things from your own angle instead of being forced into that linear way of doing things of run out, trigger someone to come looking for you, hide behind a wall.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I want Metal Gear Solid 3 to get remade, because Metal Gear Solid 3 had a lot of that. It had a lot of like go which way you want to go and like just like goof around like in MGS5. It's just that it played like doo-doo compared to MGS5. Like, that's what I'm saying. Just give me Konami, please.
He's on his knees, Konami. Look, like, he's ready to unzip your pants, Konami.
Wait, Konami, come closer. Come closer. Come closer, Konami. What the fuck are you even doing with this franchise anymore? Like, you gave us a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, but a pachinko machine. What the fuck are you doing? Like, you have all these games you're holding hostage. Just get rid of them. Give them to someone else, please.
It needs to be in the rightful hands of its rightful owner, but
Well, I don't even think because I don't think Kojima wants to do anything with it anymore. He wants to do his new stuff. I think it just needs to be set in hands of people who are capable.
Honestly, I'm not convinced Kojima is like a genius.
I mean, that's fair.
Oh, I disagree with that. I agree with that.
Like, I honestly, is the game even in like the best place in his hands, or is there someone else who could?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Like, because listen,
I'm not even convinced Kojima.
I don't want Kojima to do it because he might like be like, I'm gonna give you my definitive.
Like, hey guys,
he's gonna put in some more stuff. I just want Metal Gear Solid 3, but better. Like, I don't need him to throw in his baby crap into it. So I don't want. And plus, again, I think Kojima just wants to do new stuff now. I think he's tired. He deserves a break from the Metal Gear franchise.
Well, he did get that.
Just give it to people.
Have that.
Just give it to people that we know are like
capable
of doing it justice, of just doing a remastered justice. Like honestly, Blue Point, they did the remaster of I think it was their first remaster too. They did the remaster of Shadow of Colossus, and that's like a really very faithful remaster, or not remaster, remake, a very faithful remake. Yeah, so remake. I'd be happy if they were like, okay, here's the engine that we use to make Metal Gear Solid 5, here's all the stuff that we did to like make Snake move the way he does, and have at it, boys.
I'm not a fan of remasters, though.
Remasters are okay.
I only really cared about Spyro and Crash.
Is that... Yeah, those are remakes. Those are like remakes. The Spyro and Crash, those are remakes. Because they had to be rebuilt from the ground up, and they look completely different. Whenever I think of
Dark Souls.
Yeah, when I think of remasters, they just increase the resolution. Like
it's just a re-release, basically.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair with Dark Souls, it does have like some differences.
Yeah, for the worst.
Yeah.
Well, we don't talk.
Like the centipede boss
glitching into the ceiling.
We don't talk
out
about
of the map.
We don't talk about that part.
All right. You know what else I want rebooted bad? And I mean rebooted hard. Alien.
Oh,
good movie.
Listen, after watching Aliens with an S, I remembered how great Alien 1 and 2 are. I'll just say 1 and 2. Sorry, it's whatever. And then I remembered how fucking stupid and retarded Alien Covenant was. And I'm like, why? What have they done?
I was thinking about this the other day, actually, after watching that. The thing is, like, Alien and then Aliens covered, like, the two most, like, basic stories you can do with the Alien. You know, a horror, escape the monster, and then, like, a more action, destroy them type story. But Prometheus and Covenant, I think, did, that I liked, was to say, like, okay, we've pretty much perfected the alien. Let's look at androids, because they're pretty fucking scary, too. And I think the guy, was it David? I think he's a pretty effective villain. He's actually legitimately creepy. He's kind of interesting. The problem was when they tried to tie it back into the alien. If they just made it just David as just this crazy, fucking weird android villain, it would have been fine.
If it had nothing to do with Alien, it would have been fine.
They're like, oh, I used the original creator of the alien. It's like, no. Just let him experiment and create something wholly new. Like,
that's exactly. I think they like retroactively damaged Alien,
I
like
agree.
as a concept. It's like, well, there's no mystery anymore. Like, and all the creepy space jockey and spaceship, we know it now. We've seen it. Like, it's not that effective anymore. I really like. I think that the AI stuff is good and it is creepy, but it's has nothing necessarily to do with Alien. And I'm like, this feels like he wanted to make Blade Runner movie, and then then Fox was like, no, dude, you have to make another Alien movie. It's like, God fucking damn it.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I guess it's not even that I want more Alien movies. It's that I just fucking wish that like Covenant didn't exist.
Yeah.
And Prometheus. I mean, I don't know. I guess they're not horrible movies, but I really just did not enjoy them. Especially when the alien popped out and then assumed the position of Jesus on the cross.
That was so weird.
While a holy light came down on him. While David is like playing a flute, like having a gay flute scene with himself.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
They're just, I don't know. That was not what anyone wanted to see. Everyone just, I just assumed that xenomorphs just existed. They were just out there. However, who cares how they evolved? They just are there.
No one wants to know the answer to that.
It's not interesting.
Like leave it as it is, because once you introduce that, it kind of it muddies the waters a little bit. Because
I think it's like, to me, it's not even a mystery. It's like any other animal. They're just there.
Didn't he want to?
Yeah.
Didn't
No
he
one
want
wants to
to?
watch a movie of some guy creating elephants or some shit.
Didn't he want to make
It's
like the
boring.
perfect, like, creature?
Yeah, and that's the storyline that was fine. Is that David, like, his whole sort of motivation is
But the alien
like,
isn't
caught
the
up in
perfect
being
creature.
the fact that he was created by humans, who he considers inferior to himself, and it's like a constant complex for him, and so he's like trying to become a creator of himself, like
he wants to become a better creator
humans.
than
But the aliens aren't.
and then the engineers.
But they aren't perfect creatures, though. The aliens.
Well, that's the problem. He's crazy. That's the whole point. He's not.
Well, I think it would have been. I think it would have been better, again, if it wasn't an alien, because the aliens themselves aren't perfect creatures, so it doesn't fit his narrative.
He's not even trying. I mean, he's not even necessarily trying to create the perfect creature. He's just trying to create something better, something that he considers to be ideal.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter what he made. It would have always been amazing.
Yeah.
Which again harkens to him being a good. It is, he is a good villain.
He is a creepy villain.
He's a legitimately good villain. It's just the way they tie it into the rest of the story that is stupid.
I haven't seen.
Makes
so I
him
don't
worse. You've never seen Covenant?
Yeah.
No, why would I go,
cool.
Sean? Why would I go watch Covenant?
Because it has stupid shit. Like Covenant is bad in the sense that after I watched it, I was like, that was stupid. But I wasn't like watching it like, oh, this scene is bad. This dialogue is so horrible.
Yeah,
right.
Here's the thing,
Well,
Sean.
there were a couple sequences.
Yeah.
Sean, when the egg opens and he sticks his fucking head in there.
There's a couple of parts where I'm like, bruh.
Sean, when I go to watch, here's the thing.
Bruh.
Here's the thing that you all need to understand about me. When it comes to going to a movie theater, I need to go in knowing that I'm probably gonna like the movie beforehand. And just watching like the first trailer of Alien Covenant, I was like, yeah, this isn't gonna do it for me, and I don't want to do it. Because like going in with my ADHD and having to sit down in a giant movie theater surrounded by people I don't like, I can't do it. I don't like doing it.
Whoa!
No, besides
Surrounded
you
by
people.
people he doesn't
Besides
like.
you people.
What's that
Clip
supposed
that.
to be?
Surrounded by people he doesn't
Yeah.
like.
Finally
I don't.
comes out.
Yeah, I never liked you guys. We've been over this.
The kazoo.
We've been over this. I'm not even. I don't follow any of you on Twitter. Or do
Why,
I?
dude? Wow.
Roddy getting exposed live.
I'm exposing myself. Yeah.
Just outing himself.
Yeah, just like when I outed myself out of the closet.
Anyway. No, I totally understand that, Roddy.
What, coming out of the
But
closet?
if that's true, why did you... No.
Yeah, you're the one. Yeah, no, Aiden was the one that was very supportive of me.
Andre, title this episode "Revelations," please.
Revelations.
No, but I get that you don't want to waste, go to the movie theater, blah, blah. But what you said right now just made me mad. Because you made us go to that fucking Ghost in the Shell movie for your birthday that was a piece of shit. We all knew it was a piece of shit, and you made us go anyway.
That's different. That was my birthday.
Well, I think we just wanted to. I think we just wanted to see something. It was the only thing.
It was either that or the Power Rangers movie. Mm-hmm. So I was like, either way, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to see the Power Rangers movie either. So either way, I'm screwed. It's just like when I went to go see Invisible Man last weekend. I didn't want to see Invisible Man, but she paid for my ticket. How was it? I used to.
Speaking of
Invisible
reboot,
Man, I already told Sean that I think it's bad. But you know what, Sean? After thinking about it, I don't think it's that bad of a movie anymore. I think it's just very average and okay. I think it has a lot of things that I don't like, but then it has stuff that I do like. It's just I'm very mixed about the movie. But I will say, there was that one part in the movie where I'm watching it, and then like the part happens, and I immediately turned away from the screen, and I just started laughing, and I had to get up and leave.
Okay, you got
this is a spoiler for Invisible Man. I don't recommend Invisible Man. But so, in Invisible Man, there's a scene where the main character, she's like, my boyfriend, he's following me, and she finds evidence that her boyfriend is invisible and is stalking her and is like trying to make her seem like she's going crazy. And so she calls for her sister to meet her in a Chinese restaurant, and they meet in this Chinese restaurant, and they're talking, and she's like, sister, I think her sister's a cop. I don't remember. I don't care. But she's like, sister, I have evidence to prove it. And the sister's like listening to her, and all of a sudden her sister just like looks, and you see a knife floating next to the main character, and then the knife like goes in and slices the sister's throat wide open, and she dies. And as it slices her throat, the knife then magnetizes, because the guy takes the knife and just like puts it in the main character's hand. and so that way everyone in the restaurants thinks that she killed her sister. And when that scene happened, I could not take it. I just started laughing, and I had to get up and leave because I didn't want to bother my coworkers. I was just like, I couldn't stop. There's so many stupid scenes in that movie. There's another scene where they're like, because they think that the Invisible Man is dead, because that's why no one believes her that he did this, because they're like, he's dead. We have pictures that he's dead. So they do that, and there's a part, because the guy's rich, right? So she's getting like some of the monies from his will, and she's with her lawyer, and like the lawyer eventually says this line where she says something, and then he replies with, oh, well, he's physically next to you right now. And she just like looks at him for like a second, like what? And then he goes, his ashes, I mean. And then it pans over to like the earth. God, and I'm just like, oh my God. And I think that's when I turned to my coworker and I said, we're here for 2 hours. The movie, dude, I think it's
2 hours.
Again,
honestly,
of this,
the premise of the movie sounds and the plot stupid to me.
Isn't good. But I do think that, like, I did like the directing of the movie. I think the directing of the movie was done pretty well. And I think that there's a lot of good, like, tense scenes. The only problem that I have with the tense scenes is that a lot of horror movies these days, so, like, in order to make you feel something, I gotta go, whoa, like, the entire time to make you start freaking out. Or, like, if there's a jump scare, I have to play a loud noise along with it. Like, like literally, there's just this part, like, there's, like, this really tense moment where she's, like, in the attic, and she looks down, and, like, she knows that the Invisible Man's, like, in the house with her. And she, like, looks down she's, like, in the attic, and she looks down the ladder, and then she just, like, she grabs the paint bucket, and she just, like, immediately, like, splashes it. And you don't even see the paint bucket. Like, that was the whole point. And she just, like, immediately splashes it, and he's, like, right there. Like, he gets splashed, and his head was, like, poking up, and he's, like, about to grab her. And, like, the only reason why that scene made me jump was not because of the reveal of that. It's because they played this loud, obnoxious sound when she did it. That was just like, whoa, you're supposed to be scared right now. And everyone was, and like the female coworkers that were with us were like huge crybabies, and they were constantly yelling the entire time. It was making me, and I was just like, you gotta be kidding me.
Shout out to Ronnie's crybaby coworkers.
Shout out to my coworkers, and especially shout out to the one that bought me the movie ticket because I bought her a gay manga.
Shout out for that chick.
Wow. Shout out for her.
What pisses me off about that Ronnie is that could be a genuinely good scare, in the sense that if she says beforehand, or she's like, I'm gonna throw this paint down so I could see his footsteps when he walks up to the ladder, but then he's already right there, so when she throws it, it lands on him.
Yeah.
That's like legitimately, that's pretty spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, the reason why it was,
you.
it's because she's like, it's not like she's staring at it. And she just like does it like immediately. She's staring at it for like a good minute. Like, she's like trying to figure out if he's there or not. Like, that's when it does well. Like the quiet moments when she's just like standing there trying to like hear him. They also have a lot of weird things where a lot of characters just know he's there. Like, they'll just be sitting there and then they'll just like turn around freaked out, like someone's here, when they shouldn't know. Like, I get the idea of like you feel someone staring at you so you get freaked out, but like they feel like, I'm talking about characters who are in the dead of sleep and they wake up shocked because they can sense him around the corner. Like, that stuff is really weird. And there's just a lot of, they tried to actually be quippy, like what Eli was talking about. They try to be quippy in the movie, but it comes off as like just retarded. There's just there's a full scene of just 2 minutes of them of 3 characters talking to each other, like trying to be funny, and I'm just like, can we?
And then one of them goes, "Yeah, well, I got."
I swear, honestly, I think me and you were we talked about this a while ago before you went and watched it, and I was saying I can see what kind of movie it is, because I was like, in the trailers you already see the main character making like quips about like finding him and stuff, or like knowing that he's there. She's like,
that doesn't happen in the
I know
movie.
You're here. I see you.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in
like,
the movie. They took that out. There's like a couple of scenes in the trailer that's not in the movie.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really weird, and it's a very, very predictable movie in general. Like, however you expect this movie to end, you're pretty much right, because everyone guessed it. And then my coworker was like, if they did it this way, then it would have been better. And I'm like, it still would have been really predictable. I think they just needed a better story, because I'm sorry, but I don't really care about. There's something about her being stalked by her ex that's just kind of weird to me, and I don't really care for it. I think there's definitely an underlining like message about what's it called? Because the whole thing is that she was abused by her boyfriend and whatnot, and
being in an
abusive and that's why people were expecting them to go the other route of, oh yeah, she was abused by her boyfriend, and this is like what happens when you're abused, and like in that bad of a relationship, you're haunted by it forever. Even when the person's gone and out of your life, you still feel like you're being controlled by them. And but then it turns out, no, he was just controlling her. He was in an invisible suit the whole time. It's stupid. And I didn't like it. I'm like, okay. There's also another thing that just took me out of the movie is that there's a scene. Oh, we're into the 1 hour mark? All right.
Sick. Sick.
Shut the fuck up.
Anyway.
You're the worst. Hey, you know what? Fuck Invisible Man and fuck shitty reboots.
Yeah.
I can't think of a good reboot.
The shitty one.
Oh, wait!
The shitty one.
Wait.
The Mummy. I already said a good reboot. That was a good one.
What about The Thing?
The Mummy. The Thing is a great reboot.
Yeah, that would be more of a reboot, because it's like not even.
It's absolutely
a remake.
cursed film.
Yeah, it's a remake.
I think
You're right.
it stinks stinky butt, and it smells like some weird neckbeard walked past me and just laid it out on my face. And because of me saying
Eli,
this,
I think you are stinky.
well,
head.
maybe
Face.
our sponsor for this episode can actually help me out with that. You ever think of that?
Is it Dollar Shave Club?
What?
No, but
No.
today's episode
We're
of
not
Anything
good
Goes
enough for Dollar
podcast
Shave Club yet.
is actually brought to you guys, or the viewers, is brought to everyone by Febreze, you know? Because I've been in some really shitty situations and dealing with a lot of shit at work. So, you know, I contacted J&J, Johnson & Johnson company, and got us a little bit of a quick endorsement here. Look, I mean, honestly, I don't know about you guys, but there's just been a lot of bad air around here. And I constantly sit in fear at my desk when I'm at work. Anytime that like someone walks by or anything like that, it's just the worst. Now, obviously, most people are assuming oh, what, the coronavirus, breathing in bad air and stuff, you'd be half right. But IT guys at my work love to crop dust people. They, walk right on by and just let one rip. They think it's like this hilarious joke. They're just a bunch of weirdo losers with neck beards, fat dudes, just, I don't know, sit at their computers all day. Not like we're not those people, because I am literally one of those guys. But it's different when I'm at work. It's completely different. I mean, I'd say I'm pretty chubby. Say I'm pretty thick.
Wow. Hey, Johnson, can we pick up the ad read here, please?
Anyway, IT guys at my work love to crop dust people, and thanks to Febreze, I now have a fresh scented barrier to protect me from the neckbeards. Febreze comes in a variety of scents, such as fresh pressed apple, my personal favorite, and clean linen. It's another good one because I don't like overbearing scents. I like standard scents. So the apple one is my favorite. You can pick up a can at your local supermarkets, and for our listeners, actually, they do get something great. Absolutely nothing for picking up a can.
Yeah, because Febreze isn't worth it.
It's a pretty damn good deal to me. Be protected from those stinky people. Buy Febreze. Thanks for sponsoring this episode, guys. I appreciate it, Johnson & Johnson.
Eli, when are we going to make actual money?
Oh,
Never. Give up.
Look, we probably will.
Especially...
I don't think we'll ever make actual money off of this, but, if we do, Johnson & Johnson,
no,
we
they
would
won't.
appreciate
Shut the fuck
that.
up,
They're a
Johnson
family
Johnson.
company. They don't support the Armenian genocide like we do.
Whoa.
And on that note, because
Whoa, you can't go exposing us like that.
note, we're gonna get a lot of hate for that one. We're gonna get like
It's a
one
joke.
whole
Anything
dislike
goes.
on the video.
Anything goes except the N word and other
We'll just
stuff
cut it
that
out
doesn't
again.
go. Okay. Hey, you know what? Quickly. There's another Anything Goes podcast.
Yeah, screw them. We're better.
Yeah, I was gonna.
I think
to say,
they're-
fuck
I think-
you guys. I hope this gets posted to them. Fuck you guys. You stole our name, even though we were made after you.
I think they're
go
British,
to hell.
so yeah, screw them.
Oh, fuck you, mate. Oh, creative.
I really love the way that you said
God.
that.
Yeah, fuck those guys. Listen to our podcast. Way better.
Top quality right here, guys. This is upper echelon podcast stuff. We're up there with the Joe Rogans and the Bill Mayers and
Hey, Bill Mayer fucking sucks. Fuck Bill Mayer. Hey, Bill Mayer, you fucking suck.
Eli, have we trademarked Anything Goes? Because we can sue them if they haven't, right?
not yet, but we can.
We should probably.
I can
Yeah,
hop
good
on
luck
that.
with that.
We actually probably should hop on that.
All right. Well, see, then we'll be making a little money.
Yeah, we'll make like $1 million settlement.
Yeah,
It's a startup, This is a startup company. You guys are all investing on the base floor by subscribing,
watching, by
liking,
suffering.
watching, and donating to the Patreon, which has not gotten a single.
Oh, we have a
Suffering.
Patreon.
Great.
I forgot.
Yeah, completely forgot about it. I don't keep tabs on it, to be honest, so I forgot. But bye, guys.
Excellent management.
What?
Wait. Hold on. All right, this podcast, I gotta say, I think we really leveled up.
That was good.
A little bit of Final Fantasy on the way out. Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening. Is that it? Cool.